Are gaming companies making more money than some of the biggest social media platforms out there? I thought about this question and I looked it up. The truth is, yes. Now, what made me think of do this video is the other night I was laying in bed thinking, I just saw that video of Donald Trump sitting at a round table with all those tech billionaires. All of them were there. Even Bill Gates. A lot of people saying Bill Gates sold out. I don't think he sold out. Bill Gates has always been a snake in the grass, in my opinion.
Very proud to do it.
In the next 2 years, it's $250 billion.
It's great. It's great. Great. We're proud of you. Very good. Thank you. A lot of jobs.
Everyone was there, all kissing the ring. It felt like I was watching an episode of Game of Thrones. And it's almost like the nerds are never satisfied with what they have. You know, Zuckerberg building data centers, same thing with Amazon. I mean, all trying to build data centers and build AI. And they're all kissing the boot of Trump and saying, thank you so much for helping.
Pro-business, pro-innovation president. It's a very refreshing change. We're very excited to see what you're doing to make all of our companies.
Hurry up and say it's for other people, to help other people.
All of our companies and our entire country so successful.
He said the quiet part out loud, you know, but we're going to help other people and we're going to create jobs. And when you look into the amount of jobs that they're creating, it's not a lot. I mean, these are jobs that can be held remotely too. So think of who they're going to hire. They're going to hire people from India or China or anywhere where they can have lower wages. This is what got me started into this video about the gaming industry. We're being distracted here with data centers, AI, which is a bigger problem than it is how severe it's going to get and how bad it's going to get for millions of Americans that will lose jobs because of AI. But what's happening with our kids? What's happening with the generation Alpha? You know, the coming up under Gen Zers. Okay, what's happening with the 10 and 12-year-olds right now, and maybe even 13-year-olds? What's happening with them? So that's what I want to dive into. And you guys can, obviously, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you don't at the end, feel free to give it a thumbs down. But make sure you drop a comment and tell me why, because this is an important topic. So we're talking about the money they're making, because you always got to follow the money. The biggest social media platforms used to be like Twitter, X, right? Now that has gone downhill, obviously, with Elon Musk buying it. But when you think about Snapchat, Pinterest, these are other huge social media platforms. People use them, but they don't make anywhere in comparison to some of the gaming industry. When I looked into this, it said roughly they make 3 to 5 billion in yearly revenue. This is Twitter, Snapchat, Pinterest. And companies, Epic Games, Sony PlayStation, and Tencent Gaming are raking in tens of billions every single year. Now, obviously, with Epic Games, it was a little more difficult to find out exactly what they make because they're a private company. They're not public. So it led me to believe doing things quietly, sometimes without drawing attention to yourself, is a great strategy. If you're a billionaire, why would you want to be constantly plastering your face on the screen, constantly being around political people and having your face there? Why not send little minions of yours to do your bidding? Why not keep your face out of the spotlight? When you do that, you kind of go undetected. Nobody's going to call you a demon. No one's going to say you're a horrible person. It's like Bill Gates. We see him everywhere. We're so annoyed and sick of him because of his face being plastered on our screen so much. And we already don't like billionaires because most of us aren't going to be billionaires and we will never be billionaires. And so there's already a divide there. There's a division of we're the 97%, they're the 3%. I'm actually watching a Netflix series called The 3%. I would suggest you guys watch it because it's really good. And it does make you feel wary because we're living in a very similar timeline where we're looking at these billionaires collecting more money than ever for themselves under the guise of helping people connect with one another, which is not true. You can go down that rabbit hole of talking about what social media has done to adults' mindsets and creating more narcissism on a scale like no other. We can talk about all the negative aspects of social media and what it has done to the brains of adults, but I think that ties directly into what I'm talking about with the kids and gaming. You got Fortnite alone has spending not $1 or $2, which I expect to spend some money with gaming. You know, if you're a kid, buy a couple things. But now we're talking about $25, you know, for a pickaxe or some digital upgrade. Multiply that by millions of players around the world, and then suddenly we're looking at $1 billion money making machine built on children's demands. Many parents give into this because they're tired, they're overworked, and they don't want to fight with their kids. The iPad has become a babysitter, and the kids resort to all day gaming. And this has become the new norm in many households, but it's coming with a huge cost. Kids are becoming withdrawn, antisocial, and disconnected from their families. They'd rather be glued to a glowing screen than in family dinners or hanging out with their friends and relatives. And it's not just about the screen time, it's about the massive profits these companies are making off of our kids' attention. I personally collected a $400 settlement, or you could, yeah, it's a settlement from a class action lawsuit from Epic Games because my kids were playing Fortnite and there was a lawsuit. And I don't know if you guys remember this, but I wasn't even the defendant, okay? If the company can pay that much money to participants of a class action lawsuit and still keep going strong right after that, they're making some serious bucks. In fact, I keep wondering, why can't I create a game like that? Something that's so highly addictive that I could become a billionaire from doing that. Lawsuits have become just a cost of doing business. And some of these companies make so much money, it doesn't even matter to them. So why don't you see the gaming billionaires sitting at the political roundtable with Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg? Why don't they appear as much as we see all these other tech billionaires? Well, because they're smart, okay? They keep quiet. I believe they are actually the true nerds. Gaming, the people who are in the gaming industries are the real nerds, the nerds that don't have some ego to prove or some, you know, big chip on their shoulder. Do their stuff in quiet, not the nerds like Zuckerberg and all these other ones trying so hard to prove they're real human. And, you know, you see Zuckerberg out there or surfing and trying to act cool in a suit, or Jeff Bezos running around a fake blow up doll. In my opinion, that's how Lauren Sanchez looks. But they're not proving anything. These guys that are running these gaming companies are quiet for a reason. They are letting all the social media billionaires take the heat while they rake in billions of dollars in the shadows. Yet gaming is arguable. While gaming is arguably, why can't I say that word? Anyways, gaming is much more addictive and more powerful than social media will ever be, because it's shaping an entire generation after Gen Z, Gen Alpha. It doesn't just entertain the kids, it rewires their brains, their dopamine levels, their ability to socialize. And as a parent, I see firsthand how hard it is to pull these kids away from gaming. They don't want to do anything real world. Anyways, we're told to worry about TikTok influencing our children, but maybe the real danger is in gaming. And you know, it's being played in our house. You know, our kids glued to their Xboxes, PlayStations, their PCs. That's becoming the biggest things, when kids just building their own PC builds and creating massive gaming rooms, you know, with multiple screens. I mean, this is how crazy it's become, right? To play games like Fortnite, Call of Duty, not Roblox so much, but still, the kids are in these virtual worlds. So these aren't just games. These are billion-dollar psychological machines. And I'm not a psychiatrist or anything, but I'm talking from a perspective of a mother that has two children under the age of, 14. And I see what it's doing to our kids. Now, in my attempts to try to fix this, I would say when my kid's PC breaks, I won't give in to buying another PC. I will probably just be resorting to, saying, if you want it, you're gonna have to go work for it. Get a job, help them build some sort of outside world skills. And then there are some kids that are just smart, that just get it. Once they hit a certain age, they realize, I can't be doing this forever. I have to do other things. Maybe a young man that wants a girlfriend. He might realize once he gets to high school, I'm not going to get a girlfriend just sitting in my room playing on my video games all day. I need to balance this, right? So there are smart kids out there they're balancing it pretty well. They're realizing, I'm not going to give up things that I like. All right, I like doing this. It's a hobby. That's fine. But there are kids that are just mentally unaware of what's happening, and that maybe have addictive personalities. And you can see it already starting by the hours of online gaming and how they operate with their can't pull themselves away to even eat. These are dangerous signs that your kid might be addictive to the gaming. But you guys go ahead and drop your comments. But it was suspicious that, no one's talking about the gaming aspects and those tech billionaires, because they're the ones shaping an entire generation, as I said. Anyways, have a great day. Think for yourself.